Hey guys, welcome to Dathan Days. You know those places you see in photos for years, the ones you pin to your vision board or watch on repeat in YouTube? Well, today, those pixels are finally becoming a reality. We are officially in the heart of Italy's Motor Valley, driving towards a place that has defined my automotive dreams since I was a kid. The air just feels different here. It smells like high-octane history and Italian passion. We're headed to the Lamborghini Museum in Sant'Agata Bolognese, and honestly, I'm finally here, living the dream. There it is, the Raging Bull. Seeing that logo on the side of the factory where every legend was born, it just hits you right in the chest. And it all started with this. This is the original bull ornament from Ferruccio Lamborghini's desk. It's a tiny piece of metal that represents the massive ambition a tractor builder who decided to challenge the world. The walls here are covered in the DNA of the brand. You can feel the evolution of the lines, the wedges, and the sheer audacity of the design language before you even see a single tire. Alright, no more talking about it. Let's step inside. Where do we even start? It's just a sea of wedges and wings. Well, this isn't just a museum. It's a temple of speed. Every car in this room has a story that changed the industry forever. Starting with the blueprint of a modern supercar, the Lamborghini Miura, the name inspired by a bull. Check out those mechanicals. It was the very first car to use a transverse mid-engine V12, and the car that we're seeing here is a fully completed Miura in this perfectly smooth gold paint, which even till day is kept in very good condition. And right next to that, we move on to the Roadster. It's literally a unicorn that's standing here, the only one that was ever built by Bertone. It has no roof, no side windows, and a re-angled windshield. And seeing this very car in person is a spiritual experience. Now take a closer look at the exterior. The paint is called Lamy Sky Blue Acrylico. It's incredibly shiny because of the metallic lacquer used back in 1968. It's actually a miracle that it looks this good, because after its show debut, the car was sold and repainted green to be a zinc research car for decades. It took a massive restoration in 2008 to find the sample of the original blue hidden under a trim piece and bring it back to life. The contrast is what makes it. It's paired with a Pelle Bianco, a white leather interior, and interestingly deep red carpets. This was a bold move by Bertone to make sure no one could look away. Before all the wild mid-engine supercars, there was this, the Lamborghini 350 GT. This was the first production Lamborghini launched in 1964. It used a superleggera body by Touring of Milan. Superleggera meaning super light body, fixing aluminium panels to a tubular frame, and that 3.5 litre V12 was actually a detuned race engine, making it the most sophisticated Grand Tourer of its time. This car actually marked the start of Lamborghini history, and then the wedge that changed everything. This is the Lamborghini Countach, the LP400, and nicknamed the Periscopio, named for the tiny mirror on the roof used to see behind you, because literally the rear visibility was zero. This car introduced the iconic scissor doors and defined the Lamborghini silhouette for the next 50 years. Even the interior is still in very good condition. The shape of a Countach, even from afar, is something that you will not miss. Long before the Urus, we had the Rambo Lambo, the LM002. It was originally a military project, but then Lamborghini decided to put the 450 horsepower V12 from a Countach into this big bad machine. It got 74-gallon fuel tank because, well, it needed them because of the weight of the vehicle. But even now, this vehicle is unknown by many and still carries a lot of presence because of that V12. The 90s and 2000s era, where the Bull got even sharper and more refined, the natural progression of the V12 and the V10 legends, the Diablo, Murciélago, and Gallardo. Right before our eyes, we have the Huracan GT3 race car, and this car didn't just win Le Mans, the very famous 24-hour race that we all envy to watch one day in person. It's still wearing the battle scars and the debris from the track, and this is what victory looks like at 200 miles per hour. This very car is a testimony to prove that the bull can dominate on the track too. Blink and you'll miss some of the rarest metals on earth. Starting off the series of rare Lamborghini variants, we have the Reventon, which was built in 2008, inspired by the F-22 Raptor fighter jets. Only 20 of these coupes were ever made, which were available for public. It also introduced the TFT digital dashboard that eventually made its way into the Aventador. It's pure stealth bomber for the streets. It's not only the TFT display that it bought into, it also bought the shape of the Aventadors. Even the taillights, the arrow-shaped taillights is also what was brought in with the Reventon. The glass that we see for the engine bay and the overall styling that this car carries is what shaped the way for the new age Aventadors. Moving on to the next piece of history, we have the Lamborghini Sesto Elemento, and the name basically means the sixth element on the periodic table, which is basically carbon. And the entire car, as the name suggests, is wrapped in carbon. From the chassis to the suspension and even the drive shaft is made of carbon fiber. The car just weighs 999 kilograms, just shy of 1,000 kilograms. With a V10 under the hood, the car hits 60 miles per hour in a whopping 2.5 seconds. And this is a track spec car, which basically means this was not made for the road, with the red interior that was sports seats and the exterior completely carbon. Even the rear of this automobile, looking at the way the exhaust has been placed right under the wing, it was completely unique and different for its time. And now for the star of the show, the reason I've been holding my breath since I've entered, the Lamborghini Veneno that launched in 2013. Seeing this car in person is just surreal. I have looked at photos of this car for a decade, and standing just 3 feet away from it, I'm actually shaking. This isn't just a car, it's a street-legal racing prototype built for the company's 50th anniversary. Under that wild arrow-shaped carbon body is a 6.5-liter V12 pushing out 750 horsepower. The car hits 60 miles per hour in 2.8 seconds and won't stop until you touch 221 miles per hour. But it's the rarity that gets me. They only built 3 customer coupes in the entire world and 9 roadsters, each costing over $4.5 million and upwards when they launched. The one we're looking at right now is car Zero, the factory development prototype that Lamborghini kept for themselves. Just look at that massive dorsal fin and the rear wing. It's designed for maximum downforce to keep it glued to the track. Every single line on this car has a job to do. Now we're moving into a more personal stuff. This is the Lamborghini Centenario that was launched in 2016. It was built for one reason, to celebrate what would have been Ferruccio Lamborghini's 100th birthday. Only 40 of these cars were ever made, 20 coupes and 20 roadsters. And this one is finished in this jaw-dropping exposed carbon fiber. Technically, this was a massive first for the brand. It was the first Lamborghini to ever feature a rear wheel steering, a piece of tech that eventually made the Aventador S and the Huracan feel like they could defy physics. It also debuted a brand new 10.1-inch portrait touchscreen that brought the Bull into the digital era. Underneath that stealth fighter bodywork is a 6.5-liter V12 tuned to a 770 horsepower. It has the largest rear diffuser ever seen on any road car at the time. They look like they could swallow a small city car. It's light, loud, and the ultimate birthday present. And here we have the hybrid pioneer, the Sian FKP37 that launched in 2020. The name literally means a flash of lightning, and it lives up to it. This was Lamborghini's first step into the hybrid world, but they did it in the most Lamborghini way possible. Instead of heavy lithium-ion batteries, they used a supercapacitor. It's 3 times more powerful than a battery of the same weight and recharges completely every single time you hit the brake. That tech, paired with a 6.5-liter V12, is producing around 819 horsepower, making it the most powerful production Lamborghini ever when it had launched. If you look closely at the design, you can see the Terzo Millennio influence in those Y-shaped headlights and the Countach inspiration in the sharp lines. They only built 63 coupes, honoring the year 1963 when the company was founded, and also the FKP37 initials, which pays tribute to the late Ferdinand Piëch. And now we have a full circle moment where the icon has been reborn. This is the Lamborghini Countach LPI 800-4, which launched in 2021. Seeing this right after the original Periscopio downstairs is a trip. It was unveiled to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the Countach, and the Lamborghini only produced 112 units, a nod to LP112, the project name used during the original development. Underneath the retro-futuristic carbon body, it actually is a beast of modern tech. Even the scale models here are a work of art. I think I need one. And now let's take a quick look back at the future, where the cars that defined the 2000s era. This is the Lamborghini Diablo GT from 1999. Only 80 cars were ever made worldwide. It was the first time they pushed a V12 to 6 liters. It was strictly rear-wheel drive, 575 horsepower. It was intimidating, loud, and it was the definition of a widowmaker. Well, this is the moment for me. The Lamborghini Murciélago LP670-4 Super Veloce that launched in 2009. Ever since I was a kid playing Need for Speed Most Wanted, this has been my absolute modern dream car. Seeing it in the flesh in this museum, I genuinely have the chills. This car was the ultimate finale for the Murciélago. It was 100 kgs lighter than the standard model because of massive use of carbon fiber and a stripped out Alcantara covered interior. The 6.5-liter V12 was pushing around 670 horsepower, which is why it's called the LP670. But it's not just about the numbers, it's about the presence. They were supposed to build 350 units, but they only made 186 before the factory had to switch to the Aventador. And here is a rare one, the Lamborghini Gallardo Quadricorsa. This was built in 2013. And the Quadricorsa badge means that the car was built by Lamborghini's racing department. They only made 50 cars worldwide. It's essentially a street-legal version of the Super Trofeo race car, using the same 5.3-liter V10 from a Gallardo. The car that redefined the V10, the Huracan Performante from 2017, the car that set the sub-7 Nürburgring record. This isn't any other Aventador Ultime Roadster, it's a one-off created at the Ad Persona department. The exterior color is called Azzurro Flake, a stunning light blue paint which was custom engineered to be a modern replica of the Lame Sky Blue Acrylico found on the Miura Roadster. It's a 780 horsepower thank you to the car that started the mid-engine V12 revolution. And here we have the 2006 Lamborghini Miura concept. This was created to celebrate the 40th anniversary of the original Miura, and it was the first project led by the legendary designer Walter de Silva. The goal was simple: take the most beautiful car ever made and modernize it without losing its soul. Walking out of those doors, I still have to pinch myself just to make sure that this was real. To see the history, the evolution, and the cars I've spent my life dreaming about all in one place. I'm just full of gratitude that I got to experience this.